guys, I hope you all are doing well. First off, don't mind my skin. It is very angry right now. I have terribly sensitive skin and it's all in an uproar at the moment. But anyway, what this video is about is my candles that's included in the Dark Circle box. It is the VooDoo Queen box. This is one of the items that's going to be included with the Voodoo doll or Poppet. So as you can see on this candle, all of the candles, this one is mine. I have engraved my symbol for life. This is what I use. Now, the reason I'm showing you guys this part is just so you know, if you don't like my symbol, all you have to do is use a different candle for one, or you can just put a little heat to this and carefully, don't burn yourself, but you could smooth this wax back out so that this symbol is gone, and you could put whatever you want, whatever means life to you. You can just write life in it if you want. Or not and. I'm still sleepy, y'all. It's the wee hours of the morning. So one of the things I wanted to show y'all, if you wanted to put something of your own, you can leave this if you like, but I left the back blank. You can put whatever you want on there. And to do this, if you're not familiar with carving a candle, you can use a crystal with a sharp point. This is a selenite wand that my friend gave me. This is what I use to carve the candles, all of the candles that's included in these kits. It's really nice because it's got a sharp point, but the point is rounded. If you use something, I would suggest that you use something like this that is round, that's got a point, a sharper point, but is round. If you use something that I'm trying to think of something like a matchstick, how it's got a flat edges on it. When you go to make like the curves, it's going to be more difficult to do with something that has a flattened edge. I don't know if that makes sense. If you've ever tried it, you'll know what I'm talking about. But you can use a crystal. Another good thing is if you have a knife or a little dagger, a toothpick. You can use a toothpick. You can use whatever you want that has like a little sharp point on it. Just make sure it's sturdy enough to do this, that you're not going to break whatever it is. So one of the ways that you can make a nice fairly straight line down your candle is if you hold it like I'm holding it. You can see the light that's shining straight down it. You just come on here, and it's going to be really hard for me to do without getting my hand in the way, but you take the tip of whatever it is you're using and go lightly. You're just basically going to scratch the candle and go straight down, following that little line of light. And once you do that, you can kind of get it closer to you. The closer it is to you, the easier this is going to be, because it's going to be easier for you to control whatever you're using to carve with. But you're going to slowly go over that scratch, making it a little deeper and a little deeper each time. If you try to get in a big hurry and just do it really deep, really fast, you're probably going to kind of end up with some big lines sideways in your candle. And little lines are alright, like this one. I slipped and I kind of got a little farther beyond my curve than what I would have wanted, but it's not as deep as the rest of it, so that's easier to wipe out the herbs or whatever you choose to use to anoint your candle with. So now, like if you're going to do a curve, the easiest way to do a curve in a candle, like I have a circle here, you can either, same thing with the line, start out very gently and barely scratch your candle to make your circle and slowly make that scratch deeper and deeper. And as I said, as you're doing a curve, it's going to be easier for you if you have something that is a rounded tip. You can use a pen, y'all. If you have an old Bic pen, that's a good one. I've used that before to start carving my candles. Okay, now if you have a large curve that you need to put in your candle, sometimes the easiest way to do that is to just, I'm not going to actually do it because I'm going to use this candle, but is to actually make a dent, like a spot, and then come on over, kind of like following the line, scratch a little, make another dot, and another, and another. That way you're making dots on your candle of that curve, and you're going to go back and you're just going to kind of connect the dots, if that makes sense. And that'll help you kind of get that curve a little cleaner and smoother than it would be if you're trying to freehand it and trying to make that curve on the candle. Sometimes, you know, it depends on how pretty that you're, and even symmetrical that you're going to want to make it. If you like your carvings very symmetrical and pretty, dots will be your best friend. Because you can stick your dots in there and connect them together and slowly make that deeper and deeper, and it'll make it, you'll end up with a prettier design than if you're just trying to quickly freehand it on there very deep. I hope that makes sense for anybody. For the rest of you all that carve candles all the time, you're just like blah, 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 blah. You probably have your own ways to do it that makes better sense to you. Okay, now, so you've got your carving in your candle, or you're using my symbol. What you're going to do is take an oil. Now, I did not include an oil in my kit. The reason I didn't do that is you can use anything. You can use cooking oil. It doesn't matter. The purpose of the oil is to keep herbs, resins, whatever you're using inside these grooves, inside of these carved lines in your candle. A good traditional oil to use would just be olive oil. It's cheap, it's easy to come by, you've probably got it in your cupboard. It's just readily available. Now, I did not include the oil though because I don't know what you're going to use your Poppet or Voodoo doll, whatever name you want to use for it. I don't know what you're going to use it for. So if you're wanting to use yours for some sort of like love spell, for example, to give it a little more of an oomph, you might want to use an herb infused oil, something that you have already prepared or that you can prepare. And there's a lot of recipes online that you can look up and get those. So you can make this as complicated or as simple as you want. Use plain olive oil, or you can use some kind of infused oil. It's all up to you. So you're going to take oil and you're going to rub into these grooves of the candle. Let me get some oil here. And also, I'm just going to lay a sheet of paper down. I have so much oil and stuff on my table. Y'all, it's ridiculous. So, just take your oil. And mine happens to be an infused oil that I have made. And put you some on your candle. Just put some drops on there. Put it on your hands. Rub it from your hands on there. Just make sure you get enough that you get down into the grooves of your carving. Now, depending upon what you're doing, traditionally, it's believed that if you're making like a candle spell and you're trying to send something out, you're going to, sorry y'all, you're going to rub this candle upward. right? If you're trying to bring something to you, you're going to start from the wick end and you're going to pull it down. That's pretty much traditionally the different ways of anointing a candle, and there are many videos online you can watch about anointing candles. You do it however it feels right to you. I'm a big believer in that. I've always been a big believer in going with your gut. You can also just rub this candle. Rub this oil on there. Get it down into those little nooks and crannies of your carving, because that's where you're really going to want those herbs to stick. Okay, now included in your kit, oh, come here. Included in your little kit is going to be a powder. It is just a simple base powder, y'all. And I left it as a simple base powder. As I've said, same with the oil, because I don't know what you are going to want to do with your particular kit. Excuse me. If, let's stick with the love theme here, you're wanting to do this for the purpose of like a love spell, then you're going to grind maybe some rose petals, for example, in with your powder to put in your candle, and it can also go inside your little voodoo doll. What I have here, I have a little mixture of resins that I've ground up. It's also got a little, it's got a little sparkle in it, y'all, because I like sparkle. Doesn't everything like sparkle? So I have that added in there just for a little something different. Makes it a little prettier. And I actually think I have a little bit more added into y'all's, because, you know, it's prettier, y'all. So this one is actually, I've changed it up a little bit for me, for my purpose. But what you're going to do is take that powder and you're just going to sprinkle it over your engraving here, because that's really where you're wanting it to go. It doesn't matter if it gets on the rest of your candle somewhat. You're just going to want to make sure you kind of get it in those nooks and crannies of what you've carved. Okay, so now you're going to take your hand and kind of press it in there. Make sure you're getting it in there where you're wanting it to go. Once you feel like you've got that in there, you can just give your candle a little rub lightly now, because you're not going to want to take all of your powder back out of those carvings. So just lightly rub your finger over it to kind of dust off the surface of your candle. And as you can see down here where I kind of slipped, where it was shallow, see it doesn't even stick in there. That's why you want your carving to be deep, but you start out shallow and gradually get deeper and deeper. Now, so here's what it's going to look like after you get your oil and your powder on it. Now, something that I should have told you from before we got into this is my little symbol looks like this for a reason. And the reason I wanted these on here, these lines, what you're going to do with those is put your initials or your name. You're going to have to use something like a needle or a pen, something with a finer sharp point, because you've not got a whole lot of room on this candle and you're going to want to stick them on the ends. Like if your name is really long, just put your initials. So put your initials, put your zodiac sign, put your birthday, You can come down here and put on this side like a word of, like, if let's stick with the love spell thing, or health. You could put health or love, or if you're trying to reinforce a relationship, a mutual relationship, the bond with that, for example, you could put like their name and their date of birth or their zodiac sign up here with yours, something like that. You get the picture. It's, like I said, it doesn't have to be complicated. You just have your lines here, and out on the points of the lines, you're going to put something to make this candle more specific to you, and whatever you're doing with it, right? I'm not the greatest explainer in the world, y'all, so I hope you see what I'm talking about. Okay, now you've got it. You've got your initials, your date of birth, your zodiac sign, any symbols that you wanted to add to the candle, or words. It doesn't have to be symbols. It can just be words. Just write something on it. You've got it on your candle, and now it's ready to use. It's these herbs and resins that I chose to include with this candle are just general herbs. They're not specific to any particular thing. That way you can use them for whatever you're wanting to use them for. They're just there to add, they're there to add like a little, I don't know, a little power and life to whatever you choose to use them for.